Pronto, buongiorno. Sto chiamando perché ho visto l'annuncio della casa in vendita a Rocca Imperiale. Sono passato proprio davanti alla casa. Sarebbe possibile effettuare una visita?
So a while ago, I went on a trip to Calabria, the southernmost region on the Italian peninsula, and decided to stay the night in a small town I knew very little about, called Rocca Imperiale. Even though I was only there for a day and wasn't planning on making a video, I felt inspired by the quaintness of the village and thought, for many this could be the perfect place to find a cute dream home for not a lot of money. There are actually countless picturesque villages in Italy just like this one that most people have never heard of, true hidden gems. In this video, I'll show you how to find at least some of them, tell you the benefits of living in an Italian village, all while walking you through Rocca Imperiale. Andiamo. Rocca Imperiale is located on the Ionian coast where Calabria begins and Basilicata ends. And its historical center is up on the hill with the beach 10 minutes down the road. It's a town of 3,000 inhabitants who are split between the Borgo, the old castle town, and the newer town by the shore. The old town, which I explored on my early morning walk, is built on a slope and is picturesque. Time seems to stop here. And that's the first reason you may want to look for a dream home in a small town like this one. Life just moves at a slower pace and only really picks up at regular rhythms throughout the year for holidays and festivals. The second reason would be the fact that you would literally get to know everybody in town. If you're from a place like Rocca Imperiale, your family has been here for generations, and there is a very close-knit community of people who support each other, know each other well, and bond over shared traditions and history. In the modern world, there is something so authentic and attractive in being in a place so unchanging. There is a sense of connection to your past and roots in your physical location. This is a rare thing nowadays, and that is the third reason you'd want to live in a place like Rocca Imperiale, as a sort of escape from the frenetic modern world. Regarding the history of Rocca Imperiale, it was built in the 13th century on order of Frederick II, the Holy Roman Emperor and King of Sicily, who wanted a chain of protective castle towns throughout his possessions in southern Italy. The imposing castle remains the main monument of the town. Heading back down the hill of the historic center will bring you to the 13th century Church of the Assumption, Santa Maria in Cielo Assunta. The festival of the patron saint takes place every year the 1st and 2nd of July. In a procession from the castle to the church, the town celebrates the successful defensive against an invading Ottoman incursion in 1644. Do you also dream of escaping to a small Italian village? Well, one thing is for sure, the locals won't speak English. You'll need to learn Italian, and the best way to do it is to enjoy yourself in the process. I personally have gotten a bit bored with the traditional methods.
LingoPie, today's sponsor, is a totally unique concept for improving language skills. It's basically Netflix with inbuilt tools to help you learn a language.
You study by watching real movies and TV from the country of your target language. Personally, I've been having fun using LingoPie studying German and bringing up my level of listening comprehension.
So I'm choosing to watch a show called City Tours in Germany.
LingoPie gives you live dual language subtitles and a full transcript while you watch. Let's say you hear a new word. You can click on it, get the meaning and pronunciation.
Stadt.
This adds it to your personal vocab list, which you can study later on. There's also a built-in AI function, which explains the grammar concepts being used in the video you're watching.
I really enjoy using LingoPie because it's a practical way of immersing yourself in a language and learning from real usage. You really don't even feel like you're studying. Check out LingoPie by clicking on the link in the description below to have a 7-day free trial and an exclusive discount upon signing up. Highly recommended.
During my stay in Rocca Imperiale, I wanted to have lunch at a local neighborhood restaurant and decided on Palazzo Pucci. That's known for its menu focusing on local cuisine. I opted for a dish of spaghetti alla chitarra with shrimp in a lemon sauce. Rocca Imperiale is famous for its lemon production, and this dish was a simple and delicious showcase of its rich flavor.
This is what they do so good in Italy. Pasta's always cooked perfectly.
I followed up with fried codfish meatballs with krusky, which are a sort of crunchy sweet red pepper chips. They're typical of Calabria and are made by frying dried peppers in olive oil. Crusco in Calabrian dialect means crunchy. Of course, my stay wouldn't be complete without going to the shore, even though it was in late fall. On my way down, I stopped to get a dessert in Pasticceria Lillo. The variety of pastries in southern Italy is just on a whole other level. Tarts, cookies, fogliatelle, beignets. It's hard to choose, so I asked them to give me the local specialty to bring along with me to the beach. The beaches of Rocca Imperiale, known as the Marina, is right on the Ionian Sea and extends for 7 kilometers. Some parts are pebble beaches, whereas others are sandy. Despite the crystalline turquoise waters, this is not a touristic beach. And yes, we're talking about the same Ionian Sea which in Puglia can fill up during the summer. So for pastries, they gave me l'Imperiale, the Imperial, which is a massive cone filled with cream and covered in chocolate, and the so-called uovo fritto, the fried egg, which is a sort of light scone filled with pastry cream, whipped cream, and peach.
So good.
So this is the resource I want to show you guys, where you can start looking for beautiful historical villages in Italy by region. It's called Borgo Più Belli d'Italia, and as you can see, the website gives you access by region to the towns that are part of this association. So for example, you go to Tuscany, and you can scroll through these various different towns, most of which I'm sure many of you haven't heard from. We're in Calabria, so let's have a look at what we have here in Calabria. And you can see as well, maybe you're more of a southern Italian aficionado, and you say, oh, what is there to discover in southern Italy? And you find Rocca Imperiale, right? They're part of this beautiful association, right? I think it's a great resource because it leads you to the hidden gems, right? You're not in Florence, you're not in Venice, you're not in Rome. It really helps you to discover and gives value to these beautiful places, which are as old as these other towns, right? A lot of these towns are from Roman times. Of course, the concept of it being a borgo is a medieval concept, right? So it's a castle town with medieval walls, but it's an association that goes all across of Italy. So you have the north, south, the center, the islands. And so let's say, you are thinking of, you like village life. You can come to this website, look through what they have in the region of interest. For example, Badolato. I've never heard of Badolato before, but looking through here, you can see, wow, this is an absolutely gorgeous location, right? And it's just stunning. Italy is full of hidden gems like this. And it's really just a question of going out there and discovering them. And I think this is a great resource for that. And if you're interested in, for example, like cheaper homes, it's possible to find, beautiful historical villages that have, interestingly low priced homes, right? Because they are smaller towns. They're off the hidden path, the trodden path, but they have a lot to offer in terms of quality of life, for somebody who's looking to slow down. So for example, Tre Bisacce in Calabria, sea views up on a hill, kind of like Rocca Imperiale. Great resource, check it out. Though my impromptu trip to Rocca Imperiale was unplanned and was coming to an end, I was determined to find a cheap dream home for sale and tour it. So I had a look around town, took some photos, and decided to make some calls with the hope that something would materialize before the clock winded down. To give you an idea of the quality of home that's possible in Rocca Imperiale, here's a quick look at the 2-floor B&B that I was staying in while there. So it's of the style of the area, made completely in stone, and it's been completely renovated. So you have the gorgeous arches on the walls, the stone is completely revealed, you have the ceilings and floors which are in wood with revealed beams, and a fully functioning kitchen. There is a spiral staircase going up to the top floor, But there is also an independent entrance from the street which leads you in, and that's this door right here. So this is the top floor where you have the bedroom, that bathroom to the door on the right, and a sort of living space. So according to my calculations, this house would probably have an asking price of around $80,000 in a place like Rocca Imperiale, and that's based on the home that we will see right now that an agent luckily reached out to me for. So I wasn't able to tour a home in the short time that I was in Rocca Imperiale, but I was able to reach out to a local agent and get a video of a video tour of a property that he made. And so, as you know, I normally like doing kind of cinematic tours, high quality tours. And so I did have the kind of dilemma, do I show you this property or not? And so in between having the option of not showing anything or showing you this, I chose you would probably be most interested in seeing this this tour, even though it's not the best quality. It's still very interesting. So this is the property that we'll tour. Let's say it's 85 square meters. The asking price is 77,000. So this is a cheap home that you can buy in Rocca Imperiale. And that's the price for it, right? Very similar to the property that I stayed in as a B&B. So this is the tour. It's 3 floors, and you walk in on one of the ground floors. Since Rocca Imperiale is on a hill, you have a lower entrance and a higher entrance. So this is the entrance up top. You walk in, and to the right you have a bathroom. You can see the property is in great condition. It is kind of being used, this bathroom, as storage spaces. So I presumably this is a property which is being lived in part-time of the year and probably rented out at other times in the year. But it's been renovated with beautiful tiles, the brick tiles on the floor, and you have one wall which is that revealed stone. So this is the floor which is the living space. So this is where you have kind of the living room, dining room, kitchen, all put into one. So this is a typical village home, right? This isn't something luxurious. This isn't something that's going to be very spacious, but it is a very nice, I think, pied-à-terre, village home for somebody who's interested in escaping, the modern day conveniences and atmospheres of the hectic lifestyle that we kind of all seem to live, I believe, right? And so this is what these village homes are like in Rocca Imperiale, like the other property which I was staying in as a B&B. It's 3 floors. It's very bare bones. But if they're treated well, if they're renovated well, if they need renovation, they're a very pleasant place to live in with lots of atmosphere. You can see from this one, you have a beautiful view into the village, but also the sea there in the distance. And so I could imagine, if you're like a digital nomad, you work from your laptop. If you're a young couple, this is just a nice home where you can come and get away from it all. You have an e-bike, you can drive your e-bike down to the shore, and this would be your little Calabrian country home, right? And that's how I imagine it. We'll go downstairs. You can see a nice storage space there above the stairs. The stairs are in as good a shape as the floors, so those were also a part of the renovation that took place. And you can see that door there in the back. That's the entrance to the home from the street lower down on the hill, right? So this is what's currently being used as the bedroom. So you can see you have plenty of space here for a nice big bed, but with a window letting in light there. The door is beautiful. So very beautiful old wooden door, probably one of the original doors from the property, which is nice. I don't know if I pointed it out already, but there is air conditioning, which would provide also the hot air into this property. And this is the bathroom that they're being used. That's being used. So it's a 2-bathroom property on 2 floors, which is very nice. And you can see there's not any really big division. And so what they've done is put that armoire there as the dividing space. Nice closet space there below the stairs. And traditionally, if you're living in a village in Calabria, you're not going to have modern sized homes with modern divisions and huge sprawling open spaces, right? These are homes which are built in stone, in brick, and wooden beams. And so they're petite village homes, which are, and I think that's part of the charm, right? The inconvenience of the old, right, is part of the experience of being in a house like this. But even though it's small, they've opened it up very nicely. They've been able to install this nice mezzanine level, whether that was here before or not. And you can see the roofs are in great condition. The ceilings are all in great condition. It's a turnkey property for asking price 77,000, which can be certainly negotiated downwards. And you have a rooftop terrace. Rooftop terrace looking onto the village, that same view that we saw below, with the sea out there in the distance and the hills of Rocca Imperiale around us. So and look at that. You have the view of the castle up there at the top too. So I mean, this is a charming home, and this is a home which I'm sure during the summer you can rent out if you're not there for a certain part of the year. This is, as we've seen, in addition to being a historical, cute little town with some restaurants, but you also have access to the Ionian coast. And so I think this is an interesting proposition for people who like villages, who want a cheap home. This is what's out there. This is the episode for today. I hope you liked. Subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you soon in some more traditional episodes. Ciao.